What's up? I'm Alise and this is Tarot, where tarot isn't just guidance, it's also exploration. This channel is all about diving into concepts most readers wouldn't even touch or think of. The strange, the divine, the mythic, and the in-between. And today's reading is one of those. How are you a daughter of the moon? This reading came through as an intuitive download, just like a random idea from my Aquarian self. Completely unplanned, but it wouldn't leave me alone, so here we are. Unlike some of my structured 3-act story readings, this one is pure curiosity. We're letting spirit lead, or I guess I could say the moon lead. And in this reading, we're going to explore the traits, behaviors, instincts, and spiritual signatures the moon claims within you. What makes you lunar? Whether you're devoted to a lunar deity, work with lunar cycles, or simply feel that magnetic pull towards the night and the unseen, this reading will help you understand the lunar blueprint you carry. If you like the vibe, go ahead and subscribe. And if you see this topic anywhere else, just remember you saw it here first. Grab a snack, relax your mind, and pick your pile when you're ready. I'll leave you to it. Hello, pile one. All right, I'm going to do a quick energy check to see if you're in the right place for this reading. So you could be a water sign. You could like the artist Vincent van Gogh or some of his works because you did get his card from the Art Oracle deck. You could have short hair, multiple ear piercings. You could wear gauges. You could like dark makeup. You could also use the law of attraction, or you like to dream journal, or you just keep a dream journal. Let's see, what else did I get? Yeah, I think that's it, actually. So, what makes you a daughter of the moon? So this is a pile who most likely has a direct connection to the moon. With the Moon Mastery card, you likely use the law of attraction to manifest with the moon cycles. This is definitely giving a moon magic pile. And if you don't, you probably are interested, or maybe you just dabbled before, but I just definitely get this pile is either people who actually use lunar magic or are in tune with the lunar cycles, or that's something that they're about to kind of double down on in their life, make a routine or habit out of. I do think for those who have, you could have brought a very powerful manifestation into your reality using moon magic before, but now you could be dealing with a little self-doubt or blockages. And as a witch, I can definitely relate. A lot of us in our craft have that one first good spell that confirms your abilities and capabilities, but then a little voice in the back of your mind goes like, oh crap, what if I can't do that again? So I feel like some of you might be going through that or have gone through that recently. And if you have been struggling with self-doubt in the magical arena, the moon suggests you try group manifestations, spells, and rituals. I think you need a more feminine support from friends and family, or just more of a feminine balancing within. But to get directly into the energy, because this is meant to be a short reading, but now I realize recording these just straight recorded tarot readings, that these are not going to be long or not going to be short. So what makes you a daughter of the moon? I'm getting two things. If you work with the moon in a spiritual capacity, then you're already considered initiated as a child of the moon. So that knocks off the obvious part. The second thing is whether you do or don't work with the moon, what makes you its daughter is your inner emotional life. I got strongly that this pile can be the depressive or emotional type. You have Vincent van Gogh showing up, who is historically known for his mental health struggles during his lifetime. This man has definitely been institutionalized, maimed, and swallowed whole by his depression. This pile could have experienced similar. The moon is not only a representation of femininity. The moon is not only a representation of femininity, but emotions as well. Life's cyclical nature and the subconscious. I think you guys are very attuned to all of those aspects of the moon because you're the walking embodiment. That's what I was getting. Some of you know how to process your feelings well with the King of Cups. People can count on your emotional security, and they probably don't know that this emotional maturity you have now has come from your own struggles with mental health or trauma. Some of you can't afford to fly by the seat of your pants when it comes to mental instability because You've been to some really dark places. But I mention this to say that it all ties into how you are a daughter of the moon, because whether you're stopping by this reading for ish and giggles or because you're genuinely curious, you don't really have a choice in the matter necessarily being a daughter of the moon. This pile's emotions are very powerful, powerful like the tides. You can manifest the good and the bad with your feelings alone. Pile 1, when life is good, it's really good, and your reality reflects the same. It could really be as simple as when you're in a good vibration, the weather's perfect, the sun is out. But when you're low, the sky is dark and gloomy for the day. If stuff goes wrong, who knows? It most likely is a direct reflection of your inner world. That's probably super cliche of an example, but if you know what I'm talking about, it's real for you in a way. For some of you, you might have, and I'm not a mental health professional, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I am someone speaking from experience, though. Some of you in this pile could have been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, maybe borderline. But for those who have bipolar disorder, or even, what I just got to, because we're talking here about the moon, my audience is intended to be feminine expressing and aligning people, or you could say women, people who identify as women. So if you are someone who menstruates, that is directly tied in with the lunar cycles, right? And for some of you, you might just have like PMDD. And for some, it could just be cyclothymia, which is I believe on the bottom lower tier when it comes to the bipolar disorder scale. But for some of you really might have PMDD. But if it's bipolar disorder, the mania you have, these ups are up, and the depression is really down, months at a time. Just for some of you, if it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. If you know you're bipolar, then you know you're bipolar. But yeah, like I said, cyclothymia, PMDD, you guys are just really, your body and your emotions, your hormonal cycle is really in tune with the moon's cyclical nature. If it's not in tuned, it definitely is a human embodiment or reflection of that. But this is something you really have to be aware of, because like I said in your manifestations, your magic is completely at the whim of your emotions. So if you want to do spell work, rituals, or manifestation work, it is imperative that your emotional body is cleansed and regulated consistently. If you're not in a good place, your stuff is going to fizzle and it's hardly going to shift a hair in the wind. That's why at the beginning of the reading, I was picking up a message about needing more feminine support for those who are experiencing blockages. I'm really now, at the time of recording, definitely getting some of you really just need to do what you can to regulate your hormonal cycle. And this is coming from someone who's very hormonal themselves. I'm pretty sure I have PMDD as well as PCOS. I don't know if those are hand in hand. Sometimes I think that they are, but regardless, some of you really are just hormonal. This support, though, or like going back to this like feminine support, like that's why you're experiencing blockages, right? Like this support, like I said, could be found in a coven or a group of like-minded people. And this could be regarding anything, right? Even if we just stray away from actual lunar magic, lunar associated things, some of you really just need to be in a consistent friend group of women or feminine people who really know how to be intimate in a platonic way. It could be like-minded people who have the same interests and hobbies as you, or like I said, a coven. But these people really should be there, this soul family. Their purpose is to balance the emotional scales for you and keep the energy in check during magical workings, especially like specifically if you're doing magical workings. But just day to day, some of you, I really think maybe some of you just are not in a space right now where you're getting the feminine support that you need. And again, too, it doesn't just have to be friends, right? It could be family. You might really just need the love of your mother right now, or the hand of your sister, or a hug from a friend during periods of emotional instability. If you know you're struggling right now, you really need to allow yourself a support system, because I feel like some of you, this feels more like a curse than a blessing from the moon. This ebb and flow, push and pull, emotional life that you live, regardless, you can really manifest some amazing things with your emotions. Some of you need to integrate the moon cycles into your life much more. I'm not talking about lighting a candle randomly on a new moon because a TikTok astrologer popped up on your For You page. For those, like I said, yeah, for those who menstruate, you need to figure out how your cycle coincides with these moon phases. Now, I see online, and someone, feel free to correct me in the comments or provide a little bit more insight, but I've just been, as a person who's also chronically online, I've seen a lot of people talk about, oh, I'm this kind of witch, or I'm this kind of person because my period started on this moon cycle or lunar cycle. Now, I know nothing about that. That is definitely giving me a little bit of the new age pseudo spiritual stuff. I mean, if that aligns with you, that aligns with you, right? I can't tell you what to do, but I am definitely thinking you should just really track, as you track your cycle, really look at the lunar phases and maybe just do some work for yourself, shadow work, spiritual work, whatever you need that coincides with that lunar phase, that lunar correspondence. But the same thing for those who menstruate. It's the same thing for your, whether you menstruate or not, whatever. Same thing for your emotions, right? You really just need to try regulating your emotions and see how the moon helps. Because intuitively, this whole time, I've been getting like the moon really, out of all the other piles, the moon claims pile 1 the most. I'm just going to say that. There is something here about you guys that's very, very lunar. I don't know what your moon sign is. I don't know what experiences you've had. Again, what stuff you guys do in your private time. The moon here, it is if the moon is having a much more emotional response to you guys than the other 2 piles. And it's like the moon is kind of not necessarily begging and pleading, but the moon is kind of, how, like, I'm not a mother, right? But I've seen situations with parents in general where their child is definitely showing that parent's traits, the good and the bad. And while they're struggling with the bad, that parent is kind of looking to that child like, oh, please, like, just let me help you. I'm so sorry. This just runs in our family, or this is who I am. You are my you're your father's daughter, you're your mother's daughter or son or whatever. That's what it's kind of giving with the moon here. It's like, yeah, you are my child. You definitely are linked and attuned to me. And I'm so sorry because you're kind of out of balance. But like, if you just kind of look to me for guidance, I can help you a little bit or learn more about yourself. And it won't be this tough because the moon wants you to see this kind of life that you live emotionally as a blessing more than a curse. And right now it just feels like it's more of a curse. I did get as well, for those who have really intense emotions in this pile, you guys could possibly benefit from taking an emotion like resentment and, like I said, allowing the moon's respective phases to guide you through processing, transmitting, or releasing that emotion. Again, the moon's in parenting mode right now. Some of you guys, maybe some of y'all have not been actually like taught these things from like your parents, because as an Aquarius moon, people say, for me, right, people say Aquarius moons don't feel their emotions. That's not the truth at all. At least for me, in my experience, I definitely feel my emotions. I'm very in tune with them. I just compartmentalize them. If it's not logical at this moment or a benefit to me to actually feel this or be in this, I'm just going to set that aside for now and come back to it later. Knowing, though, the theory of astrologically, like, your moon sign is a reflection of how you were mothered or nurtured in your childhood. My mother was not emotionally available. She still is not to this day. And so, as someone on the outside looking in for you guys for this pile, I am feeling like this I would love for myself. So maybe this solves my pile. But like, where I was getting is that, like, maybe you guys also kind of weren't taught. So maybe you're an Aquarius moon who actually doesn't know how to feel their emotions, or maybe you're an air moon and you process them and it's just really hard for you to I don't know. But I mean, honestly, people would assume with this pile that you guys are more water moons. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an astrologer. I'm not gonna get into it, but it just feels like some of you were like, no, I was not taught, or I was just not given the appropriate tools, or how some people will do kind of a one size fits all application for certain psychological things for people. Every person's brain is different, a person's life is different, and maybe y'all are just really emotional. But the moon definitely wants to gentle parent you, and it wants you to look to them and see how it ebbs and flows through its 30-day cycle, and see how you can process your emotions, reflect on them, transmute them, release them, and maybe that is what you guys already do. Maybe that is, but I think it just confirms more how you're a daughter of the moon, because it's like the moon is telling me, like, you guys are definitely supposed to live your life that way. Take that if it resonates, if it applies. I'm not telling you how to live your life. But it's just like, to sum it up, you guys are a daughter of the moon because you truly embody the moon's emotional and cyclical entitled nature. Your emotions are potent. Your emotions are powerful. They can crash down on you in beautiful waves of joy and love and pull you into depths of sadness and despair within a day. Strong enough to flood the shore of your life, but in that lies your power. The moon is one of the heavenly bodies responsible for manifesting life on our planet. And because you are its blessed and sometimes cursed daughter, you have the power to do the same. That's all. So that's what makes you guys a daughter of the moon, pile one. I hope that resonated for you. Let me know, talk to me in the comments. I really want to know what other things about yourself makes you feel like you are a daughter of the moon. I'd love to know. Bye. Okay, so hi, pile two. I'm just going to jump into your reading because it's super clear to me. How are you a daughter of the moon? Or what makes you a daughter of the moon? You have a strong sense of integrity or a moral compass. Apparently, with the moon shining card, the word itself signifies empty words or foolish talk. So you could be an individual who doesn't like to beat around the bush. You don't like lies, you don't like liars, and empty promises definitely get under your skin. You could have a history of dealing with such, where people say they're going to do something and they never follow through. People have tried to bullshit you with their own words, okay? Thinking you'll forget the details or embellish to influence your thoughts or choices. Just to relate to your energy and provide an example, in a world of the insecure, manipulative, and weak-minded, I tell people this. I don't say shit just to say shit. That's how you guys come off to me. A lot of the population can't handle truth and a direct attitude, so they people please and they beat around the bush. And I think this pile is similar to me in this way. You're very honest with yourself and others. Sometimes people can't even handle it. With the moon and the moon shining card, it's like what is before you is difficult to ignore, and you're going to call it out and state the facts as well. If you in this pile, if you're pregnant or you've ever been pregnant in the past, you could like be deep in this kind of personality during that time. Your physical state could make you more irritable or lower your tolerance for BS. This is a pile who has a very strong sense or awareness of karma as well. You could even go out of your way to uphold consequences, or at least make sure that the consequences of negative actions are clear as day for the world to see. You guys are the kind of person who's like, I'm gonna call it as I see it. And and like I said, it's not like you guys are the karmic police, right? You guys aren't actually going out trying to be your own Archangel Michael and trying to cut people down, and let the consequences come in. No, you guys are just like low key. Sorry, this is gonna be so this is gonna be a sidetrack. Let me know in the comments if y'all watch Berlizzi, because I watch Berlin all the time for like the longest, right? There was a co-op he was doing with Easy Gang with Rico, PG, and Joe, and I think it was Repo. And there was a moment where Berlin was trolling Rico and they were hiding in a corner from a monster, right? And of course, like, the monster can hear their voices. And so there's a moment where the monster is kind of like approaching the room, and Berlin just freaking throws Rico under the bus, and he's like, he's here. That's how y'all are. And Rico's like, oh, you dirty for that. You dirty for that. That's you guys. That's what it kind of feels like karmically. It's like, I'm not going out of my way to like punish you myself or be retribution for others and myself, but you're like, I'm gonna call it out. Like, he did that. They did that. That was wrong, It's like you guys kind of like are the catalyst, or at least like the alarm for those kinds of things. Because I feel like some of you actually, you're like, yeah, when I do that, I do feel energetically as if like the timer starts for them. It's like, okay, once I actually call it out, that's where the karma actually begins. Anyway, to get back into your stuff here, um, how does this make you a daughter of the moon though? Apparently, the full moon is symbolically linked to honesty and accountability, since it represents the climax of its nearly 30-day cycle where you're urged to reflect on what's to come before, or what's come before. The full moon is a phase in the lunar cycle where the heavenly body is also at its most luminescent. Truth and shadow is easily more highlighted. And in your consistent integrity, you are the embodiment of the gloriously full moon. Intuitively, I picked up on this pile having really good, clear skin. Your skincare regime could coincide with the lunar phases as well. But I also got the message that clear skin is a lunar gift for embodying the energy that you do. Some of you could also work with Archangel Michael, which is funny because I already shouted him out. If you work with angels, because Archangel Michael is an angel of truth and morality, he doesn't play with liars, he doesn't play with evildoers and evil eyers, and people in their ego as well. He cuts down the adversary with his sort of truth, in my experience. However, this pile may also struggle with perfectionism as you embody this moon shining energy, which I'm really starting to think this would be my pile low-key if I played this game with you guys, this tarot game. Oh, you know what's interesting too? We have Michelangelo here. I forgot. And we have Archangel Michael, and then we have Michelangelo or whatever. But anyway, with Michelangelo here, you don't compromise with your moral compass as well. You don't let anyone tempt you outside of your principles, but in practice, you might project that rigidity onto other people. I heard just, Virgo. That's all I'm going to say. I'm a Virgo as well. People could feel on edge when they're around you, like they have to walk on eggshells because they're afraid of your judgment. Like I said, Virgo, or you could have a prominent Virgo placement. You could also be a Pisces as well. I did pick up on Pisces for this reading. What also makes you a daughter of the moon is your softness and your kindness. Despite people's misconceptions of your strong sense of right and wrong, you guys have an ethereal, mysterious, and magical vibe to you that draws people's attention. I heard that some of you, some people only see you like at night. You could be very spiritual, practice magic and manifestation like pile one as well. Maybe you came from pile one. However, this is there's a femininity to you the moon really loves. The moon's light is very soft and ethereal too, so you reflect that. Which is interesting because now I'm like, these readings are gonna actually come together in a really interesting way, because it feels like pile one was the embodiment of the moon's cyclical nature, the moon's emotional qualities, the tides, those kinds of things. You guys, it's giving you guys are the moon's light. But anyway, let me get back to what we were doing here. This lighting thing and ethereal light thing, it does take me back to the clear skin message I received. For those that do have a connection to the moon, the conscious part of our moon, the more intelligent part of the moon, because everything has intelligence, but that intelligence doesn't have to look like human intelligence. That conscious nature or part of the moon really delights in bathing you with its light. It really likes to shine on you. So, like I said earlier, clear, beautiful skin is a gift from the moon to you if you have it right now. You could have an ethereal glow, like I said, when you're especially when you're under moonlight. Clairsentiently, though, I did feel like the moon sees you as a really soft and fragile thing, but not in a negative way. Have you ever seen like a woman who just looks so soft? Like they're just so powerfully delicate, like not a flower, not an Ophelia type thing. No, projecting that, damsel kind of, at the whim of other people's will thing. No, like the moon is just like, no, like this is like a powerfully delicate woman, you are peak femininity. You could just have that kind of aura as well. But with your tarot cards, I was drawn back to your truth-seeking and truth-telling abilities. Yes, with the High Priestess, most of you are incredibly psychic and have knowledge about the occult. You could be tarot readers and seers as well. With the angel tarot card, Lilachaya, Lilachaya protects from magistrates, which are civil servants of the law. So if you offer psychic services, you could help people struggling with legal matters, or people being framed or lied on, or just oppressed by their government. You guys, whether you know it or not, you might be like, well, I actually just focus on love reading, but you really don't know. You probably really helped somebody out and you didn't know. But your strong principles can be seen in the foundation of your activity, where, like, at the foundation of it, you push for the unveiling of the truth in the situation. If you're a witch, you could help with baneful and protective magic as well. The kind of baneful and protective magic that stops liars and gossips in their tracks. So that makes you a daughter of the moon. If you're not a witch, mystic, or spiritualist in any way, you could work in the legal field or have an affinity for true crime, as well as the collective, like you like the collective scrutiny of public figures. Apparently, though, with this energy, the moon at its fullest sees that all as moonshining, all of those qualities. So you shine your light outward to illuminate the truth in everyone and everything. And in return, the full moon blesses you with the luminescence that you have, with an ethereal, spiritual, and physical glow only a true daughter of the moon can wield. So that's really what I get for you guys. This actually was really short and we're at 10 minutes. So yeah, let me know how you guys feel, guys. Hopefully I see you in another reading. Thanks, Pile 2. Keep shining. Hey, Pile 3, and a few people from Pile 2, because I feel like some people from Pile 2 came here, as well as Pile 1. Everybody's kind of piling up on Pile 3. Welcome to your reading. This is meant to be a quick reading. I actually got to 10 minutes for Pile 2, so let's see if we can get to 10 minutes for you. But let's just jump right in. What makes you a daughter of the moon? You guys are incredibly in touch with your feelings, okay? With the Howl at the Moon card, you guys know how to experience emotion without succumbing to it. So maybe maybe this is kind of a shot at Pile 1. So for those coming to Pile 1, from Pile 1 to Pile 3, just watch yourself here. Of course, now my cat's acting crazy as I'm recording, but I think you guys know how to properly empathize, and you know how to cycle through your feelings from the birth of them in your body to their release. Yeah, those coming in from Pile 1, I think this is, you guys were sent here because the moon wants you to kind of look at Pile 3 as an example, because y'all need help in Pile 1. And this may sound simple to you, Pile 3, but trust me, not a lot of people out there are aware enough or have the basic skill of processing their emotions without the help of a licensed professional, or at least a loved one. It's quite sad, y'all. But you, my Pile 3s, could be so good at this that your methods may appear to be a little unorthodox or a little eccentric. With the monologue card you received, you could engage with literal moon howling to release built up repressed emotions. When you get angry, you might scream it out and move on. You might shout it from the rooftops. You may consistently do body checks, sitting with yourself while allowing a plethora of emotions to rise to your awareness, while you scan your body to observe where said emotions are stored within your anatomy, because the body does keep score. We know this by now. And it's processes like that are a disappointing reminder of just how unequipped other humans are to analyze their own emotions, because I actually had to teach my ex-husband to do that, to do that exact body scanning method to help him process his emotions. I mean, the homie was 30. Like, that's crazy. Now, where I have an intense frustration regarding that particular disappointment, a lot of you in this pile are like the complete opposite. You have a deep capacity for empathy. Maybe in the past, your empathetic nature could have brought you energy vampires and narcissists, but I think a decent chunk of you have better boundaries in place at the time of viewing this or listening to this. But how does this make you a daughter of the moon? The moon, with its phases, symbolizes fluctuations of various emotions on the human emotional spectrum. Think of how on a new moon, there is so much potential. New beginnings, knock at your door. For many, this could be inspiring, eliciting a sense of tranquility as they try to reflect on what's next for their lives. And see, during a full moon, there's a peak in emotional energy. People literally get feral and antsy. Whatever they've been doing or going through during that 30-day lunar cycle is ready to erupt like a volcano and be released. Unfortunately, not a lot of people do that in a healthy, ritualistic way, but you may in your own. Whether you follow the lunar cycle or not, you guys could recognize that your emotions follow a healthy life cycle similar to the phases of the moon. They are born within you, they wax in potency to show you why they're there, you learn and adjust, then you release them, and they finally wane with you in gratitude. Now, you don't have to go through that specifically, but you could have a similar pattern. Some of you actually could be going to school to study psychology. You guys could be psychiatrists, psychologists, sociologists, even. You guys could just have a background scientifically or academically in the psychological, sociological studies. I don't know. Now, in this pile, you could be a Pisces, a Scorpio, or have a major air sign placement as well. Just like pile 2, what makes you a daughter of the moon is your mysterious nature and spiritual knowledge with the High Priestess card here. You could be considered a healer by those around you as well because of the strong emotional influence you have over yourself and others. You could be the type of people to sit next to somebody on the bus and end up getting trauma dumped on because this person subconsciously senses your safe space. You know, you guys are walking around, and if you're not emotionally a master, you're pretty close to it. Or the bar is so low for humanity right now that you are like on Mount Everest and they're at the ground level. They're at sea level. That's really sad. You guys got from the Art Oracle deck Marina Abramovic. And Marina Abramovic is the most famous performance artist out there, I believe, at this time, or at least just historically. One of her most famous performances was titled Rhythm Zero. And this involved her standing nude for like 6 hours near a table of 70 something objects for people to use on her physical body as they desired. The takeaway from the performance was how the audience was passive at first. You know, they moved around her body, you know, or, you know, they take a limb and they just like move it, or they'd like adjust her shirt or something, or her clothes. You know, they were passive and they weren't heinous. But then the atmosphere eventually escalated to more violent actions, like someone taking a blade to her neck to like literally like cut her neck and suck her blood. Insane stuff. What observers noted was that the more gentle acts were performed on Marina by women. No surprise there. While the aggressive violations and assaults were by men. She was assaulted. Throughout the performance, though, Marina has really stayed committed, even with a weapon aimed at her head while her body was marked with words like vile. The reason I believe you received Marina's card is because, like her, when you are met with the darkest part of humanity staring at you, you guys don't cower. You don't refuse the shadow. You acknowledge and allow it to pass over you. A lot of people give power to their shadow and they run from it, believing it can harm them. But you guys know that shadows don't have weight. You are objective in your observations of people's patterns and behaviors, and you don't give them more power than they deserve. I do believe where others who lack your emotional mastery would project and call you manipulative or fake, you're a true strategist. You know what you guys remind me of? Real Housewives of Potomac. In the new season for 2025, there are a few new ladies on the cast. Okay, we got Tia and Stacy. Now, Stacy's not new, but it's her second season. Shout in the comments if you watch Real Housewives at all. But anyway, because I want to keep this reading quick, Tia and Stacy are known for being very objective. They don't get in the dirt with the other messy women on the cast when they want to bait somebody. Tia comes off as mature and she knows how to take charge of a conversation and diffuse it by like using the other person's energy against them without disrespect or escalation. If anything, she owns what she says. She clarifies when clarification is needed and will run circles around her opponent using charm to dead things then and there. In one scene, a new friend of theirs named Jazzy, because you know how they'll like bring women on to do like as a friend, and then it's like, oh, if, like they mesh well, or if the a cast member leaves, or if the audience likes them, then they become an actual housewife. But this girl Jazzy took a small joke from Stacy, not Stacy, from Tia way too personally. And Jazzy like began shouting at Tia at the dinner table. Tia was nothing but calm. But I clocked her strategy instantly because I'm similar. Tia handled her emotions like Jazzy was a toddler, but handled like Jazzy experiencing those emotions like as a grown woman, if that makes sense. Like Tia used a little humor without invalidating her. Tia didn't match her energy because why does she need to when she knows she didn't have malicious intent? And at the end of the argument, the girl, Jazzy, looked crazy to everybody. Usually with the Potomac ladies, it doesn't end that way. They take immature things like that and they make a story out of a line out of it. Now, Stacy's just not serious. Her strategy is to not even give you the time of day, but still show up in love. And that irks those women's spirits because they know it shows their true colors when they don't want to match Stacy's energy. So I think you guys are like either Tia or Stacy, or you're both, but you guys are definitely mature. You know how to really sit in your emotions, process them. Unfortunately, at times, sometimes you play the role of helping other people process them. Hopefully, you don't do it too much. Maybe you guys have learned some hard lessons in the past about doing that. But overall, like, that's what really makes you guys a daughter of the moon. You guys really know how to ebb and flow without letting it take control of you. And that's moon mastery. So whether you're Stacy or Tia, shout out. Like I said, let me know if you watch Real Housewives. And yeah, that's what I got for y'all, Pilot 3. Thanks. You guys have a good day. Bye.